So I wanted to talk about something that I haven't spoken about before on the channel. And this one is mostly for the men. And this is something I've been doing for about a year, which is getting very popular these days. And that is the practice of semen retention. Most of us men, especially from recent generations, we've grown up with porn, and we've grown up with this conditioning of masturbating every day to porn and releasing every day to porn. And whenever an experience of horniness came up within our system, when we were teenagers or even adults, we had the feeling, I need to release this. And every time we had the feeling, I need to release this, we went and watched porn and we released it. There was actually nothing, we were actually missing an opportunity to grow in presence. And nowadays, if you are someone on the spiritual path, you're interested in awakening, you're interested in growing in presence, then it could be useful to practice semen retention. Now, one of the ways in which it can help us to grow in presence is when you get the feeling of horniness, the feeling of you want to release this energy, you want to masturbate and release the energy. When you get that feeling build up, it builds up in your groin area. It builds up in this lower chakra area. And what that really is, it's a build-up of energy. And we become uncomfortable with the build-up of energy. We feel like there's too much sexual energy building up, and so we need to get rid of it. That's our thought. We need to get rid of the sexual energy. So what we usually do is we masturbate, come, and the energy is released from us. So what you can do instead is when this energy arises within your body and you have the impulse to move towards porn to release, or move towards masturbation to release, is you bring the extent of your attention down into the energy in the genital area, in this lower chakra center and the area above the penis, and you breathe into that energy. Not really trying to achieve something, not trying to move the energy up your spine necessarily. You just feel it. You breathe into it. Now the natural thing that energy does, that sexual energy, is it rises up into the mind in fantasies. So you can be walking down the street or driving in your car and you can be caught in sexual fantasies in the mind. And again, there's nothing wrong with this. I don't want to demonize this sort of movement. But what that is, what the sexual fantasy is coming in the mind is, again, there's a build-up of energy down in the lower chakras, down in the groin. And that build-up of energy is trying to find a release. And so it's coming up into mind and creating fantasies. Now, if you want to use this energy to grow in presence, and people who watch these videos tend to be interested in awakening and growing in presence, what you can do is when you notice that you're coming into fantasies, is you bring attention down into the groin area, into that lower chakra, wherever you feel the energy, and you breathe into it. You can even gently sort of move your hips if that feels natural. You breathe into the energy, and what I notice when I do this is the energy that is located in that groin area, which which feels like it wants to release outwards, is then invited to spread through the rest of the body. And you can feel it moving through your hands, moving through your legs. Or you may just feel that the contracted energy that feels like it wants to release from the groin just relaxes, and there's some relief there. And what you may notice is when you do this, you come into a much deeper state of presence, or a slightly deeper state of presence. Now, I first started practicing this. My girlfriend went to Mexico, and she sent me some nice, sexy photos from when she was out there, and I received them onto my phone, and I see the photos, and naturally this sexual energy came up in me, and this feeling of like, I want to have sex with her, I want to go to Mexico and have sex with her. Again, nothing wrong with that. But what I did in that moment, because I'd been practicing this, or I'd heard about this, I just put the phone to the side. I didn't look at the images. The sexual energy had come up, and instead of going into fantasy, instead of going into this horny grabbiness energy, I just breathed into the energy in my body. I breathed into the sexual energy that had come up. And I noticed that I felt enlivened by that energy. Enlivened by that energy. That sexual energy, when breathed into, when allowed to move through the body, to spread through the nervous system, actually enlivens our consciousness. It wakes our consciousness up. So what I was saying is when you breathe into this energy, when you meet the sexual energy, before it's turned into this going outwards horniness experience, if you meet that energy and breathe into it and allow it to move through your body, allow it to spread through out of your hands, allow it to spread through your legs, allow it to move out of that contracted place in the genitals and through the rest of your body, then the experience of horniness, which is actually not a particularly nice experience, is transformed into presence, transformed into a state of presence. So how wonderful, how amazing that as men who have this experience come up a lot, this experience of horniness, this experience of seeing a woman and that bringing up sexual energy within them, that experience of whatever it is that brings up this sexual energy. And in most men who don't practice this, that sexual energy straight away wants to go to the woman and wants to release. It wants to release because basically it doesn't feel comfortable in the system. Every time that comes up, how wonderful that we have an opportunity to grow in presence. We have an opportunity to not go with fantasy, to not go with the horniness, but instead to stay with our body, to breathe into it, to allow that energy to circulate through our system, to allow that energy to wake up our consciousness. And this is what I've found to be one of the greatest benefits of semen retention so far, is that the energy, really, the sexual energy, when you're not releasing it all the time, really starts to build up within your system. Really starts to build up within your system. Now you can think that might be a negative thing, because if the sexual energy builds up, you might be frustrated, you might just have this horniness feeling all the time. But that can be seen as a good thing, because that horniness experience is an opportunity, like I say, to come into presence. To not go with the horniness, but to stay with the sensation of the body, to stay, to breathe into the sexual energy in the body, and to let it circulate through your system. It gives us the opportunity, semen retention gives us the opportunity to not be at the mercy of our own sexual appetites. And again, like I say, I'm a beginner at this. I haven't mastered this yet. Work in progress, for sure. But my feeling is to continue with this will bring us to a place where we're not being controlled and driven by sexual hunger, but instead we're in a place of presence with our sexuality. Our sexuality, instead of bringing us into unconsciousness, our sexuality brings us into a greater state of presence. Because it can take us two ways. Sexuality can bring us into unconsciousness. I just want to have sex with this woman. I just want to release. I just want to feel and release with this woman. We all have that. It's strong as men. Or our sexual energy we can stay present with it, and it can bring us and draw us. My mate Dave. It can bring us and draw us into a deeper state of being, a deeper place of being. So that's my 2 cents on semen retention so far. I just want to add, I think there's a lot of people can get a little bit neurotic about this and think, I can never ejaculate, I need to stop, I need to control it. And that's not the way that I've been taught this by Chris Bale, who I think is very spot on with the way he teaches, very balanced. So that's what's come to me today. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe. Lots of videos on awakening. I'll probably do some more videos on masculinity, on semen retention, and all that good stuff. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. It's a wonderful journey, this journey into presence. It's very different being a man or a person living from presence than it is living from egoic, wounded conditioning. And it is a journey to come into presence, and a journey that I am very much still on, and I'm sharing from the journey. I'm not sharing from a place of, I've made it to here. It's a journey. Okay, my friends. Thank you for listening. Any questions you can write in the comments or send me an email.